Hi, I'm Stacy Kennedy with Morrison Company, and this is video 3 of our 3-part series on making a switch from a manual accounting system to an automated accounting system. What we're going to be talking about in this video is the implementation and testing. So in the previous video, I explained that we had our client fax us all of their day-to-day paperwork. So for a period of time, it was as if we were in their office. We weren't, we were in our own office. And we created a QuickBooks file and essentially started experimenting with entering their day-to-day information to see how it would flow through. Ultimately, they needed to be able to produce financial statements for their bank, for their members, for their board, that were consistent with what they've been producing in the past. Except in the past, it would take sometimes 9 months to a year for them to give a financial statement because everything was done manually and by hand. So through us entering all of the invoices and any other paperwork that came in ourselves into QuickBooks, we were able to see what kind of bugs were going to come up, what additional information they might need, what infrastructure they needed to build within QuickBooks, since QuickBooks was not intended to account for a cooperative's accounting system. So there was some creativity used in order to make sure that it would in fact produce the information that would be accurate for them to produce financial statements. So the implementation just came from them faxing us the documents. We would enter everything ourselves, make sure it was flowing through correctly, then would create instructions, detailed instructions for them to be able to essentially start to enter all of that information into their QuickBooks system. This was a small organization. They didn't have a controller or a CFO, so that's essentially the function that we were playing in that. They had a bookkeeper. So the instructions had to be very detailed, also enough that they could take that information and use it going forward day to day, even though we weren't looking at the invoices anymore. So that was the implementation and testing. I mean, ultimately, we had to test to make sure that the financial statements that the system would produce would be in accordance and approved by their bank, their board, and their members. So it wasn't a quick process, it wasn't overnight, but over time they got everything set up, and now they're a huge fan of their QuickBooks because everything they have is, they get information like that, just at the touch of a button, a report. Anyway, so that was a fun project, and we all learned a lot from doing that, and the client is thrilled, and we're thrilled for them. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this 3-part series on taking a manual accounting system and moving it to an automated system. Again, Stacy Kennedy with Morrison Company.